Hello, everyone, and welcome to Newcastle University's Business School and to today's webinar, Graduate Stories. So I'm really excited to have you all with us here today. And I know we've got offer holders joining us from right around the world, which is fantastic. For those of you who've not met me just yet, my name is Vanessa, and I'm the International Student Recruitment Manager here in the Business School. We've also got my colleague Scarlett on this call today. And our colleague Jen is part of our team as well. She's not with us right now, but some of you have probably met her when she was recently traveling in Southeast Asia. At the bottom of this slide, we've included our team's email address. And if you've got any questions at all in the lead up to you coming to start at Newcastle in September, then please just email us and we will get back to you with answers. So also on this webinar today are our fantastic panel of graduates. So we've got Derva, Sam, Venus, Prince, and Marilyn all joining us. And a big thank you to all of you for coming along. And we'll be hearing directly from you a little bit later on. First of all, though, I'm going to spend just about 10 minutes talking through the employability support that we've got available in the business school and which you'll have access to if you come and join us in September. Then we're going to come back to our graduate panel and they'll talk to you about their experiences at Newcastle and their journeys so far. And we'll be able to take some questions from you towards the end as well. So let me get started about the brilliant employability support that we have here in the school. So I wanted to start by sharing our employability specific league table results so that you know it's not just me telling you that our graduates have great outcomes. There's actually some external data there to back that up as well. I've included on this slide also some photos which we'll move through so you can see our students in action accessing our employability support. Now, the university has been awarded 5 QS stars for employability, and that means that we've demonstrated exceptional performance in preparing our graduates for the workforce. We had a comprehensive assessment by QS, which looked at the percentage of graduates who were employed within 24 months of graduation, the relevance of the education that they received to the workforce, and the impact of the university's alumni network on society. And QS themselves have said that universities with a 5-star rating for employability are recognised for their commitment to equipping graduates with the skills and knowledge needed to succeed in the job market and for their ability to contribute positively to society through their alumni. So, you know, that's a really great accolade for us to have, and also fantastic for you as students to assure you that at Newcastle, you're not only gaining a high quality education from a Russell Group university, but you're also being well prepared for your career after graduation. So you can see that on top of the 5-star rating, we also have some really high rankings for employability across our subject areas within the business school. And these rankings are worldwide rankings. So when you think of how many universities there are in the whole world, it's fantastic to see us being rated so highly for employability. And just to note on this, these rankings are done at a broad subject level and they group our courses together within this. So as an example, for the marketing one, both our international marketing and our digital marketing programs are included in that, and so on for the others as well. But now it's time for me to tell you about a few of the initiatives that go into us receiving such good graduate outcomes and those excellent accolades from QS. This is going to be a top level overview because we'll be running another webinar focusing specifically on employability in July. So we'll get into more detail about each of these initiatives then. But for now, and to help contextualise some of the things our graduate panel will talk about a little bit later on, I thought a quick overview would be useful for you. So you'll have opportunities both within and outside of your degree to boost your employability. And this academic year, we've engaged with over 200 businesses to support our employability initiatives. And they are right around the UK and around the world as well. And some of the companies that we've worked with are getting shown on the slide at the moment. We have an international advisory board who guides all of our employability initiatives. And this board is made up of members from around the world. So we can ensure that no matter which country you're joining us from or which country you'd like to work in when you graduate, we are delivering the support that is right for you. So within your degrees, you'll have guest lectures where someone from industry will come in to share insights on business trends. You'll have opportunities to work on business challenges and present your recommended solutions back to businesses, which is really great experience for you to talk about in future job applications and job interviews. And some of you will have the opportunity to undertake a practical project at the end of your degree rather than the more traditional written dissertation, if you'd like to, again, to bolster that hands-on experience that you have. Outside of your degree, you can choose to undertake internships, to undertake career treks to businesses around the UK where you'll actually go and visit their offices and do as much as your schedule allows you to further boost your employability. You'll also have access to the university's career development service, plus some dedicated careers consultants right here in the business school. So really you're getting 2 career services for the price of one if you join us in the business school. And you can see from the wide range of support that is available to you that's listed on this slide, that there's so much there for you to dip into and to take advantage of. I've included a QR code here on the slide that will take you to the career service website if you'd like to explore this a bit more after the webinar today. But, for example, you can get help with your CV, which might be particularly helpful for those of you who will be joining us from other countries around the world and might need a little bit of help to turn it into a UK formatted CV, which might be a little bit different to what you're used to. You can also access mock interviews. You can get help preparing for job applications and interviews. And we offer this support no matter whether it's a part-time job, a full-time job, or a volunteer position. And whether it's in the UK or overseas, to us, it doesn't matter. We will support you no matter what. And all of this support is available for 3 years after you graduate as well. And we're really happy to keep coming back to us and accessing this employability support as and when you need it within that time frame. If you're keen to set up your own business, or indeed you've already got your own business, then I'd like to draw your attention to our dedicated startup team, which is number 4 on the slide just here. And they will be available to support you and to provide advice and guidance, and sometimes even some funding that you can apply for. They've also got office space that you can use for free if you might need somewhere to run your business from as well. So that's a really great resource for those entrepreneurs amongst you. We also run a series of skill development workshops throughout the year, and the topics that were covered in this year's workshops are on the screen here. The plans are being finalised at the moment for next year's programme of activities, but I wanted to give you a flavour of what it might look like when you come and join us. Now, these are not compulsory for you to attend at all, but they are great sessions and they are free to you. So I'd really encourage you to attend these if you can, because that'll really help you build your skills and prepare you for the job market when you're graduating. And what I always say to students, and I know my colleagues on this call will have heard me say this time and time again, is that the students who are most successful securing employment at the end of their courses is the students who engaged with the career service and all the activities that we offer from the very start. Because then you get 12 months of all of this career development support. The students who come maybe a month or 2 before they graduate and say, oh, I need to start looking for a job, what should I do? They've missed that whole, 9-10 months of support that they could have been accessing completely free of charge. So really do just think about that and try and make the most of it once you're here and you're settled into life in Newcastle. That brings me to the end of the slides. So in just a moment, we'll start hearing from our graduate panel and hear their experiences and their perspectives of everything that I've just mentioned there. So please listen to their stories, pop any questions that you'd like to ask them into the chat, and just enjoy the opportunity that you have to hear from them. After today's webinar, as I mentioned, we have another couple of webinars coming up. One will be on employability and the other will be another Meet Us session, which some of you may have come along to a few weeks back. But by popular demand, we've added another one because I think everyone who attended seemed to find it very, very useful. And some people said that they would love the opportunity to come and meet with staff and with current students again. So we're just going to run that again later on in July. But as well as coming along to webinars and thinking about your preparations for coming, you will also, if you've still got any conditions on your offer, we still need you to work towards meeting those. Then you'll need to make your firm choice official. And so for Newcastle, you would do this via the applicant portal. If you're joining us from overseas, you'll need to get your CAS, apply for your visa, and once that's all sorted, and of course you've paid your deposit as well, then you will book your travel to Newcastle. And international welcome begins on the 16th of September. So we recommend that you get here a few days before that to get yourself settled before your first sessions will start. But I've included at the bottom of the slide a QR code, and this is relevant information no matter where in the world or in the UK that you're joining us from. You can scan that, and those web pages take you through a little bit more information about starting at Newcastle. So I'm just going to leave our team's email address on the screen there for a few seconds, just because I know it was probably shown quite quickly at the beginning, and I want to give you an opportunity to take that down or, take a photo of it or whatever you need to do. So you've got that. And if you have any questions at all over the next few weeks and months up until you come and start at Newcastle, then please feel free to get in touch with us via that email address. But what I'm going to do now is stop sharing the screen so that we can move across to our graduate panel. So here we are, and hopefully everyone is able to see our 5 fantastic alumni who've come and joined us today. So thank you all so much for doing that. I really, really appreciate the time that you've given up today to come and join us. I think what we'll do to start with is just go around. If you could each introduce yourselves and let us know your name, the course that you studied when you were here in the business school, and what you're doing now, that would be great. And I think as well as your job title, perhaps just a little bit of information about what that job actually involves would be useful for our audience too. So I'll just go around in the order that you're all appearing on my screen. So Prince, I'll come to you first.
It's audible clearly?
Yes, that's great.
Perfect. So hello guys, hope all are doing well. My name is Prince. I studied international marketing from Newcastle University Business School. And as of now, right now I'm doing marketing and data scraping in one of the Northeast company, which is Washington Cryogenics. So mainly my role involves around the marketing, sales, and data mining mainly. So, for example, if this company wants to hire any of the agent in all around the world for their sales, for increasing their sales in cryogenic vessels, so I do all of the data mining work, data accelerating. I try to find agents for them, and basically all the digital marketing as well.
Fantastic. That sounds like a really varied job. No 2 days ever the same, I imagine.
It is. Never, no 2 months are ever same.
Well, thank you for that. Marilyn, I'll come on to you next.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Marilyn. I study operations, logistics, and supply chain management during the time at Newcastle University. And I'm also coming back to work for the university as the operational buyer. My daily job is more it's like the liaison between the end user from across the university and also the suppliers we are placing orders to. Yeah. Nice. Nice to
Great,
meet you.
thank you. And it's lovely to have you back and working in the university as well, actually. Okay, Venus, I'll come on to you next.
Hello everyone. My name is Venus and I'm from Thailand. So in that time I studied master degree for the business analytics at Newcastle University Business School and graduate in 2025. Actually, before I joined the program, I already been working about in the business intelligence and finance. So after I graduated, currently I'm working at the Business Intelligence Manager and AI Transformation Lead at like our home media company in Thailand. So my role is kind of like involved helping the business make the better decision using the data and analytic and work with like different departments, like to be the bridge between the technical team and the business team. Yes. And yeah, I'm really happy to be here today and share my experience with you all.
That's great. We're very happy that you've come and joined us today. So thank you so much, Venus. Okay, Sam, I'll come on to you next for an intro.
Hopefully, can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. My name is Sam Wildish. I am based in marketing and events. I'm the marketing events manager for a barristers chambers, which is involved in law. I'm not sure how many of you know that much about law in the UK, but basically, like, it's very complex kind of setup. But we're based around family law, so my job role is involved basically marketing something that's almost kind of never really picked up in marketing. It's a difficult, obviously, subject to cover, but it's a very unique kind of base, and I kind of do outreach to solicitors firms. We run events. I do the kind of general brand management for the barristers chambers, kind of do internal and external communications, a whole kind of mix of things, mostly involved within social media and events. That's kind of like my specialty. When I was at Newcastle, I studied international marketing, similar to Recruitment mentioned that he also studied that. So kind of I learned the gist of like the base level of kind of marketing there and the kind of theory and stuff. And now I'm kind of using them skills and kind of applying that for a job role. But I'm their first events marketing manager here, so everything's kind of from the ground up. So definitely learning something new every day. Last night we run like a quite large scale event, and I've never really run an event solo before. So definitely kind of applying all of the skills that I learned at university. But hopefully I can share some knowledge. I've been in the job half a year, but I've been in general marketing for about 3 years now. So hopefully I can share a little bit of insight to them. But thank you.
I'm on mute. That was a rookie error. Sorry, everyone. That I was just saying that sounds like another very varied job with no 2 days the same, similar to Prince, but that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. And we'll can dive into a little bit more of your experience as the session goes on this afternoon as well. Okay, absolutely. Last but not least by any means, Derva, over to you for an intro.
Hi everyone, my name is Durva Kulkarni and the course that I studied was Master MSc in Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Sustainability. I know that's a lot of words, and it was a lot of work as well, not just a lot of words. So I graduated in 2024, and currently I'm working for an outsourcing company right here in the city center. I'm working as a corporate trainer, so I train all the new hires that come into work with us. Must be people you've spoken to, customer care, sales, and I train them on what the client's requirements are, so the client doesn't get fined if there's a compliance issue. So it's such a good experience that I had when I moved here, because the way the Indian education system was for me is very different than what it was for me here. And the learning, referencing all of that, it was so different. And it was the best part was that I was supported through all of it. So I wasn't initially I was a little intimidated, like, oh my God, am I doing this right? but with the resources and the access we had to the library, to the career sessions, to the guest lectures, it really changed my personality and really made me more confident than I was earlier. But yeah, currently I'm doing this, and I've done all sorts of shenanigans when I was at university. Really fun, and I hope you guys also get that experience. Thanks.
That's fantastic and lovely to hear how supported you felt you were throughout your journey with us and your time here. So that's great to hear. Thank you very much, everyone, for doing those intros for us. So now it's time for us to dig a little bit deeper into all of your experiences. So I will put some questions to you and ask each of you to answer ones in turn. I don't think we'll have time for all of you to answer every question, but I'll try and move through so that we hear from all of you a few more times throughout the session. So, Prince, I'm going to come to you first with this one. Why did you choose to undertake a master's degree in the UK and at Newcastle specifically? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Firstly, why I did choose Newcastle University was obviously the academic reputation. Newcastle Uni is obviously part of Russell Group, and the course which I had, it had Triple Crown accreditation. So I was filtering out universities on basis of that. And secondly, all the modules which were studying in terms of my master's course, all of the modules were aligning with the study I did in my bachelor's, and all of the modules were also aligning with my career path which I wanted to pursue, which was marketing, and particularly industrial marketing as well as B2B marketing, you can say. So this was one of the main reason. And Newcastle, obviously, like all the city is kind of wholesome place. So it gave me another reason to join the university. So these are the two main reasons I would say. Firstly, the academic reputation, and also I heard a lot about the career service and all the career support after even the course completion, which university provides. So these are a few of the reasons why I chose it.
That's great. Thank you very much. Now, Venus, I'm going to ask the same question to yourself. So I'll just repeat it for you. Why did you choose to undertake your master's in the UK and why at Newcastle specifically?
For me, in that time, UK master program are like intensive and practical because you have to spend only 1 year. So only 1 year they have like the intensive program, and Newcastle offer me like a strong balance between academic thing and practical business application. Because in that time, I researched many like university in the UK, and I thought Newcastle like and so distinct, and of course it's a welcoming city and supportive for university community. That's why I choose. That's why UK. That's why Newcastle. But what really stood out to me was how approachable the lecture were, and how much support students receive throughout the program.
Oh, that's really lovely to hear. Thank you for sharing that with us. So I know both Prince and Venus have started to share some of the things that really stood out to them when they were studying here. But Sam, I'm going to come to you next. Can you tell us what your favourite thing was about studying here in Newcastle's Business School?
That is a difficult one to do in my head. To be fair, part of the reason I chose Newcastle was maybe a little bit different than those that are kind of studying out from overseas. I chose it because I like the general kind of atmosphere of the city. I like the fact that like the business school was kind of right in the middle, the heart of everything. There's such a community there, and like the business school's like an amazing building. There's so many like facilities and stuff like with all of the town and the city kind of on the doorstep. So I very much enjoyed kind of actually heading out to uni. My uni was impacted in second and third year by COVID. So I was actually doing it all remote for my final 2 years of my undergraduate. So to be able to come back onto campus, meet my friends, meet the lecturers, just kind of get a general community vibes of studying there, I kind of couldn't fault that. And out of the 4 years I did at university, I think like the master's year was definitely by far the best. I just had the best general kind of atmosphere and environment of being there. And honestly, I couldn't fault kind of the support that obviously comes with the business school as well. And I just felt like so part of the community, both from staff and from just my general peers. So hopefully that gives a good answer. I was going to say Greg's as a starting point, but that's the extra one.
Two good answers there you've given. So for those of you who don't yet know what Greg's is, you will soon learn when you come to Newcastle. You can't walk too far around the city without finding a Greg's. And I think it would be fair to describe it as a bit of a cross between a bakery, fast food kind of chain, but we'll leave it for you to explore when you get here. And you can let me know if you're out. Okay, Marilyn, I'm going to come to you next. Do you have any particular favorite things or good memories that stand out to you from your time in the business school?
I would say I enjoy the most was those events were held by business school because for example there are regional tracks and also national tracks that you can actually have a feel have a glance to see like the business that you are interested in either in northeast of England, here in Newcastle, or just around the region. And also there were some opportunities to go to London and Manchester for a business track. And I actually quite enjoy that. And you can, during your study, you can already knew like whether this kind of industry is whether it is like something you want to go into, or I think it could be used as a means to map up your future career path during your study here. So I was quite enjoyed with that. And also the business school offered tons of opportunities, and I think it was twice a year there were employers came to the campus, and then you can just actually interact with them and ask those questions, and that's quite that was the experience that that was the experience that you won't get it easily in the university, I think. So in summary, the most enjoyable thing I had within the university business school was just to get myself out there and to meet people, to network, and to build your confidence. And also you can never, like, when you talk to people, you will know where you can improve. That's a very big help when you apply for jobs during your study here.
Yeah, that's a really good point there that you've made, Marilyn. So thank you for mentioning that, actually, that a lot of the opportunities that we give to you where you do get to engage with businesses, whether they're Newcastle based, whether they're more widely in the UK, or even if they're in other countries around the world, this is all helping you to build your network, because you're going to be meeting people who could potentially be your future employers. And exactly as Marilyn has said, if you're then going on to apply for a job in one of their companies, you've got someone who you can reach out to have a chat and learn a bit more about it. Or you've got someone who, when your application comes through, they'll recognize your name and think, I remember this person. I met them when they came on this particular career track, or they worked on this project for us. So it really is a great way to build your network. Okay, thank you for that. And you started to touch a little bit there, Marilyn. So I'm going to ask Derva a follow-up question on this. How did your career path change as you progressed through your course at the business school. So did you come knowing exactly what you wanted to do, or did you gain some inspiration of where you might want to go with your career while you were here?
This is such a good question because I do have a really interesting story about this. So initially, I wanted to do sustainability in fashion. So I was really inclined only towards fashion and fashion waste, fast fashion, whatever is going on. I thought, okay, let's do this, and depending on what I learn from here, I can take that to apply to fashion places. But we had so many different projects at university, and I thought, I was prejudiced about some of the subjects, some of the modules that I had, thinking I would find them boring, but I actually enjoyed them. We had a session with we had an internship with Royal Navy where we had to get them a sustainable fuel solution for the Royal Navy fleet. Now, I know nothing about ships, I know nothing about fuels, I know nothing about chemistry. So the fact that all of us came together and we had to liaise with so many government officials and students who are researching chemistry and fuel and compounds and how will it work, that really got me interested in seeing the bigger picture. And I don't see myself going in fashion anymore, and I see myself reading more about fuels and decarbonization. So that completely changed my trajectory and what I wanted to do 3 years ago and what I am studying to do now. So yeah, that was one thing that I did not see coming. I was so adamant that it's going to be fashion, and now I have a really different interest.
Wow, that's so interesting. Such a change. They're not even, well, at least on the surface to me, they don't seem too similar at all. But that's great that you were able to use some of the opportunities provided to you to discover an interest in a different area that you probably didn't even know existed when you were first thinking about fashion.
And
Thanks, go on, you were going to say something.
exactly. No, I just wanted to add that even though I had no idea about how those things work, because of my faculty that I had access to and the resources and the libraries, it gave me the tools to carry that project out smoothly. And it gave me the tools to transfer my skill and learn how to solve problems even when you have no idea, and how to learn about them quickly. So that was really phenomenal.
That's really good to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that with us all. Now, Venus, I'm going to come to you next because I think it was a little bit different for you, because you returned to the same company that you were working for before you came to Newcastle. Is that right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So perhaps you could tell us a little bit about what your journey therefore looked like, coming as someone who knew exactly what they wanted to go back and do.
Well, actually, in that time, I work in the business intelligence, right? But I mean, I have about like 4 years experience before I go to the UK, before I went to study in the UK. And I just think that I don't want to, in that time, I don't want to change the career, but I want to like invest something for the next step of my life, like for the next career. And then I decide to, okay, I want to study master degree. And I told my boss and told my company, but luckily that my company have like the policy that you can take leave for study. So I took leave for study, but without pay. So I mean, I took leave for study, and then the MD, I mean the CEO, told me that okay, if you want to study in the UK and when you back, you can like, and you they give me a project about like AI transformation project, like use the AI for transformation some process in the organization. And they said, okay, if you can do this and get a success thing, you're gonna get a promote. I think yeah, it's a good deal. And in that time, I didn't want to rely on my past experience because I want to challenge myself and gain some like a deeper analytical skill set. So that's why I choose business analytics, because it's kind of like I didn't know how to write the R coding, something like that before. But in the business analytics, when I was researching, they taught about how you know like the foundation of that and how you adapt to the business. So it's not like you gonna be a programmer, but how can you be a bridge? How can you understand them? And how can you talk as a business? And how can you get that insight to have to provide the action to get to gain the business impact? So yeah, when I come back, I use a lot of like technical skill and actually the how to work under pressure from the UK to work here. Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. It's so interesting to hear the two slightly different journeys that you both had. You obviously coming in knowing exactly what you're going back to, and then Derva there, who had opportunity to go in any direction that she wanted and use the experiences that she was having whilst here to work out what was going to be right for her. So thank you both for sharing that. Okay, following along a similar theme, but slightly different question. Sam, I'm going to come back to you. So you touched on this a little bit in your introduction. How did your master's program prepare you for your current role?
So a kind of host of different ready skills that I learned from the master's program. A lot of obviously the core general marketing material that's covered in the course is just generally quite applicable to where I am now. My previous role, I worked for the police. I was still in kind of the general kind of communications based role, but that was a little bit more adjacent to like what I'd learned on my course. While in the role that I am now, it's a huge kind of uphill challenge. So the set that I work for, we cover matrimonial finance and divorce. So it's a topic that's very, very sensitive, and I have to kind of pull out all of them like skill sets of how to like very delicately do brand management, how to delicately do communications, and just building a general kind of high reputation brand. So I have seen myself been looking back through like the general kind of core skills and make sure that I'm using the kind of the different frameworks and stuff like that. And where it's in my role, it's mostly just me that covers that general area of the business. I have to make sure that I'm doing all of them checks, that no one else that's kind of like saying, are you doing this? Are you doing that? I have to look back through and make sure that from ground zero, like all the way up, that I'm covering a general kind of marketing process and kind of doing stops and checks myself. But I think just generally being a student as well, like I pick up so many different kind of topics and skills and different just like past experiences. I did a lot of like outreach, did a lot of volunteering when I was at uni. I also joined a lot of like student societies and stuff. And I mentioned in my introduction, like last night I did an event. The last time I hosted an event, I was a student social sec for a society, and there's a lot of difference between doing like a general meet in a bar with a bunch of students than is doing like a big kind of professional corporate event. But the skills are still the same. I still saw myself switching back and kind of that like working my way around the room, putting all of like the networking skills I learned from just general business school networking events out last night. I feel like the whole student experience, whether that be on the course or just generally what you do in your spare time when you're at uni, kind of shapes you. And I feel like it's made me more of a grounded kind of person. I've never done this role before, apart from like when I started 6 months ago. Like this whole last 6 months is all new to me, but like I've kind of shaped myself in the best way possible because I can pull all these past experiences. So definitely when you do get to university, whether it be Newcastle, whether all of you end up, just make sure you kind of make the most of and make a note of everything, because I look back on all of my notes all the time. I have so many different files on my computer from uni of all different slideshows and stuff like that. But it's very helpful because if you're sitting thinking, oh, what did I cover 3 years ago? You're not going to remember it. So definitely make a record of everything. hopefully that wasn't too waffly and I answered the question.
No, that was great. And that's a really, really good tip that you've given to our audience today about keeping a note of all the things that you're doing and all the skills that you're developing and all the experience that you're having, because you will find it useful to be able to go back and look at all of that when you come to apply for jobs in the future. And it's surprising how easy it is to forget what you did in your first few weeks at university, but actually you could well have done something directly relevant to a role that you're wanting to apply for, a year or so down the line. It's a great tip there, Sam. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Prince, I'm going to come across to you now. Was there any knowledge that you gained during your degree here that you now use in your job as well?
Oh yes, definitely. As Sam mentioned, there are like I was also surprised that I have been shaping myself in the way I didn't expect it, because there were few of the modules which I learned. I didn't expect that I will apply or imply this in the real life, because some of them were theoretical. But for example, the modules like digital marketing, there were different modules like market research. So these are the modules which I right now use in my daily life, which I used to study I think 2 or 3 years back. So I'm like, oh, these are all the things which has been in my mind in last 3 years, but I never used it. But once I started doing job on the regular basis, and once I started doing all the B2B marketing and industrial marketing, I was getting all the glimpse in my mind that these are all the things and these are all the theoretical concepts which are already clear in my mind. So yes, definitely it has helped me a lot in shaping myself, in shaping my professional career mainly, to do all the work which I'm doing right now in my whether it's the corporate work, whether it's the industrial work I'm doing mainly around the data or the market research. Because I know right now that there are a few of the assignments in the module called market research which were kind of tough, or which were kind of difficult or troubling for me during that time. So I was like, let's give up. But then I pushed myself and I was like, yeah, let's just get sick of it. And right now I think that yeah, definitely it was worth giving a shot at that time when I did all of the modules, or when I did all of the assignment, which I was thinking one time that I want to get rid of this.
Yeah, that's great and really interesting to hear that from you as well. Thank you so much for sharing with you. Okay, I'm going to ask Marilyn the next question, and I'm going to ask you about outside of your course. Now, I think you did an internship while you were studying in Newcastle, is that right? Can you tell us a little bit more about your internship?
Yes, I work as a innovation lab intern for about 4 months, and the we work with the real business, and so in that internship, I learned, for example, the customer journey mapping, and also some critical design thinking ideas, just to have like the mindset of like the company has one problem statement, but there won't be just one single solutions. And we and I and the other 4 team members, we work together to come up with multiple solutions to try to solve the company's problem. And then in the end, we didn't really say which one is the best, but we suggest we have a plan and we present it to the company. And yeah, that was mostly about it. And during my time, I was also the student representative at my course. So I participate in a quarterly meeting with the business board, and just to try to have the, like, sometimes with the school's communications, I could be like the communication points to pass down the message to our professors or director of the program, and also the students themselves. So it was quite lovely to have that experience.
Yeah, and that's such an important role, being a course representative as well, because you are the voice of your peers on your course. And great experience for you to be able to feed back their thoughts, opinions, ideas into more senior people within the business school, and probably see some of those initiatives that are being suggested put into action as well. So that's great. Thank you for sharing with us both about your internship and about your course rep experience as well. Prince, I'm going to come to you because I know you also undertook an internship while you were here. And I was hoping you might be able to tell us a little bit about your process of finding that internship and applying for it.
Yeah, so I did 2 internships during my tenure. So the process was very simple. Like you obviously university has its own career portal. You get your own individual personal career portal. So I used to apply from the same. I used to regularly track all the internships which are under my radar or which I was expecting to do, because I was only looking for the internships around marketing or business development or the events role. So I was regularly tracking the career portal, and once I find like filter out few of the internships, I directly applied through the portal itself. And there were in one of the internships there were 2 rounds of interview, and in the second internship which I got, there was a single round of interview itself. It was pretty simple, but the internships I did, it was really helpful for me. It was really helpful for the job which I'm doing right now, because it gave me a lot of experience. It helped me to build my foundation, or you can say a particular base around how the systems, how the work culture work in UK, because obviously it was my first time to do particular professional, or you can say corporate type of job in UK. So it had really helped me to shape myself, to build my particular foundation or base. So yeah, it was really fun. The process was very simple because of the career service, and I also took few of the appointments and interview appointments as well through the career service. I know that I used to go for Joe or Kian 2 or 3 times a week on the regular basis and ask them for the helps and tips and interview guidance and things like that.
Yeah, well, that's great to hear that you were making the most of that support that is available there. And I'm sure that will have helped you to secure the 2 internships that you did while you were with us as well. Because I know that some students often say to me, it's so different applying for things in the UK, especially if they're not from the UK originally.
Yeah,
But that's why we have invested so heavily in our career support services, so
definitely.
that you can be coached and supported and guided through that process. You can, just like you did, successfully secure internships and then also full-time roles when you're graduating as well. Fantastic. So thank you for sharing all of that with us. Oh, Marilyn, I can see you popped your hand up. Did you want to add something there?
Yeah, adding on to the Prince point for the appointments, during my time here, there were like pop-in sessions Monday to Friday, 11 to 1, I think. So you don't need any appointment, you just pop in with your questions, and I found it very helpful. Especially sometimes it could be very competitive in terms of the booking slot, because that's for the whole business school and also the entire university. So sometimes it would be hard, but like if you could just pop in to that career hub, it's just right besides the receptions of the business. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good tip, actually. Thank you for sharing that. That we do have drop-in sessions in the Careers Hub on the ground floor of the Business School building, held regularly throughout the week, and the timings of those sessions will be advertised in September for the next academic year. But yes, if you need some quick advice, then that is absolutely the way to do it. You can just pop in, and the team will be there to help and support you. Thank you, Marilyn, for mentioning that. Okay, Deva, I'm going to come to you next. It seems like you were involved in a whole host of things. During your time at Newcastle, you were learning German, you were doing things in the sports centre alongside your degree and all of the employability initiatives you're involved in. Could you tell us a little bit about your time here?
So German is a language that I really had interest in, but I couldn't pursue it like independently. But the fact that we had a language school and we as students had access to it and we could take on a module. So I have that, the module that I completed, I have extra credits for that in my degree, which was really nice to see. The people there are lovely. And again, with the access that we have to pretty much everything, all the important resources and the libraries. I've spent nights in the Robinson Library where I was just lazy to go home, and I was like, you know what, might as well just stay here and go home in the morning. So I have done those things where I've made the most of the infrastructure that is provided by Newcastle. And I also had, I used to go to the sports center, so there were various different communities there. You could play volleyball, you could literally do whatever. I was part of the pole community, which was so lovely because the friends that I made there, it really pushed me to actually look after my health, because I used to look forward to going to those sessions. And I did realize that it's equally as important to look after your health when you're studying. So all of this combined was Newcastle made studying fun for me. And I could also have the general fun, which was going to sports communities, and it's in the city center, so you tend to just try this cafe out, try some desserts out. It was just a lovely experience there, very fun.
Oh, that's great to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Okay, I'm just going to do a little shout out for any questions that anyone who's in the audience might have for our panelists here. If you just type them into the chat, that would be great, and then I can put them to the panel. We've only got a few minutes, but do go ahead if you've got anything that you really wanted to find out. And I can see Jacqueline's just posted in the chat about Newcastle having some of the best restaurants in the cafe in the country, sorry, which is great. Yeah, it absolutely does. You will be spoiled for choice. I would challenge you actually to be able to make your way around all of them in the year that you'll spend with us. But there's always new ones popping up all of the time as well. So just while we're waiting to see if anybody did have any questions, Venus, I'm going to come back to you. And if you can cast your mind back to when you were a student here, this is probably a bit of a challenging question for you, but was there such a thing as a typical day, and what did it look like for you?
Is that an open question?
I was going to ask it to Venus first, but we can come back to you if you've got something that you'd like to share on it.
You can share first if you want to share first. Okay. I mean, do you think so your question is like what a typical day in that year? What was typical day, right, in Newcastle when I studied
Yes,
there?
a typical day in Newcastle, yes.
Raining.
Yeah, for you when you were a student here.
Yeah, but I mean in that time, like day to day, it's just like I spend a lot of time in the library and spend a lot of time with the actually my best friend, he joined the baseball social club. So that's why I mean spend time for like watching the match at the baseball match in the Newcastle University. And I spend time in like in the library because I got a project like data analyst project with the Robinson Library. So my typical day is just like go to the library and spend time with the team. And I travel a lot in that time. I travel to like Edinburgh because it's just 2 hours by train there. And what else that I do? Like, I mean, in that time, I didn't focus on the good grade. Yes, I want a good grade, but I didn't focus as much. And I just like enjoy the life, go to the cafe, go to the restaurant. That's all. Spend time with like my friends.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you so much for for sharing that. I think you've done a really good job there of touching on that balance between your studies and trying to prepare yourself for work after your course, but also just having a fun experience and settling into life in Newcastle while you're here, which is really important as well. You know, we want you to get good grades, we want you to find good jobs when you graduate. We also want you to have a really good experience while you're here with us as well. So
Yeah,
I
but
can see
I think the good,
go on,
uh,
sorry.
I think the good thing in Newcastle that's support because you can like do the got it a go. I don't remember like in UBS, so they have a lot of trip with a cheaper price, so you can like apply, and I apply a lot of trip in, and you give it a go. So I spend a lot of travel there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Okay, we've got a few questions in the chat, but I am also conscious of time because I know you're all probably needing to get back to work after this. So we'll just try to answer fairly quickly to these questions. But then we do also have 2 more webinars coming up, one on employability and one where you can meet staff and some current students from your specific courses. So I would encourage you to come along to those if you've got more questions. And of course, we've got our team email address as well. And perhaps Scarlett, you could pop that into the chat just so that everyone has definitely got a note of it, because anything that we don't manage to answer today, but you still would like an answer to, if you send an email into us, it's mostly Scarlett at the other end of this email address, but we will get back to you with answers to your questions. So let me just have a quick scroll on them and see what we can manage to answer in the next minute or so. And I can see, thank you, Derva, you've been helping to answer a couple that have come in already. So yeah, we do get asked this quite a lot about the job market after graduation. And what I would remind you of is that you're here on a webinar with 5 of our recent graduates who have all secured jobs at the end of their courses. We would encourage you to get involved with the career service as much as you possibly can. You know, I was saying earlier that it's the students who have engaged with the careers and employability initiatives throughout the year that are the most successful and fastest in securing jobs at graduation. But the offer of support is there for after you graduate as well. So even if you haven't quite got something to go straight into, you can always come back and still get support with interviews and with applications. But it's about building your network during the time while you're a student. It's about taking on some part-time work, maybe an internship, and just getting as much hands-on experience as you can to strengthen your application. We're in a good position in Newcastle in that the UK government has decided to invest in an AI growth zone, only about 20 minutes away from campus, and that's going to create 3,000 new jobs in the region in that growth zone. And we have been promised that they will recruit directly from the universities in the region. So whilst they're going to be looking for people who've got technical AI skills, you know, they're also going to need HR managers, they're going to need operations managers, they're probably going to need some marketing managers in there. So there's lots and lots of scope for lots and lots of jobs. So I'd encourage you to keep an eye out on what is happening there, because that is brand new jobs that are being created in the region. And come and chat with the careers team. Let them give you some guidance on the kind of places that you should be looking to find jobs, which job boards are going to be most relevant for you. Detail about it all.
You froze for a bit there, Vanessa.
Oh no. Oh, it is actually coming up on my screen to say my internet connection is unstable, so hopefully it's okay. And I'm back.
Yeah, you said job boards, which job boards would be the best, and then you froze from then until the end of your speech.
Oh, that wasn't very helpful. Apologies. It must have just been a little dip in the internet. I think what I was saying was that if you speak with our careers consultants, they will be able to give you advice on which job boards are the best ones for you to be looking at for the type of work that you want to go on to in the future. And I think probably the thing that also got missed when I froze was that we've got the webinar specifically on employability coming up. We're thinking the 8th of July for that one, but we just need to confirm it, and then we'll email out to you all with the invitation for it. But if you've got more questions about job market and employability and how you would position yourself in the strongest possible way, then please do come along to that. And we'll be able to chat through in a lot more detail at that point. I think there's a few questions in here that aren't specifically for our panel around written examinations and things. So I would encourage you to use the email address that Scarlett has popped into the chat there and send those in to us, and we will get back to you on those outside of this webinar. And Dover, I can see that you've sent in a couple of more answers as well, so thank you for doing that. But
Just trying to be productive.
That is very helpful. Thank you. So what I'm going to do now, though, is I'm going to bring today's session to an end, because I think we could go on for hours talking about all of your experiences and answering everyone's questions. But I am conscious that you have all willingly given up an hour of your time today, and I don't want us to go too far over that. So just to finish, I'm going to come around to each of our panel members one more time and ask you if there's one piece of advice that you would give to the offer holders who are sitting listening to you on this call and thinking about whether to come to Newcastle in September to start their postgraduate courses. What would be your advice to them? Again, I'll just go around in order on my screen. So Prince, I'll start with you.
So it's only one thing, that try to utilize all the services, mainly career services, because I was utilizing it a lot, more than a lot, I would say. I used to book appointments twice, thrice in a week. I used to attend all types of networking events, whether it was related to my field or non-field. I used to attend all the business tracks as well. I went to 2 business tracks. I attended all the events from student union as well, which is not related to the career service, but obviously it is main part of the university and the course. So I would only suggest to use most of the, or almost all the service from the career service or non-career service. Try to gain most of the things from university. It will really help you to shape yourself to the market which you are going on in the future, which is the job market or any of the other things which you are going to do in the future.
Yeah, that's a great tip. Thank you very much. Marilyn, over to you. What would be your piece of advice?
I think I will give the same advice as Prince. And also, one thing I would like to point out is like during my year, I was also volunteering at Oxfam, and like I didn't know whether it actually adds to the job application or not, but like I heard like many people say if you have some voluntary experience, it shows you are dedicated, you are passionate about something that you want to work for in the future. So just try to make use of the university services as much as you can, and enjoy the time you are here. And yeah, I think that would be my advice.
That was great advice. And I think Jacqueline's just popped something similar into the chat actually, but volunteering experience is extremely valid experience, and it's a really great way to get some experience onto your CV, to build your skills. You know, experience that you've got doesn't have to be paid work. Volunteering is absolutely fine as well. So thank you for making that point for us, Marilyn. Okay, Venus, I'm going to come to you next for your piece of advice for our offer holders.
My biggest piece of advice would be like make the most of every opportunity beyond the classroom. Of course, as I told you, like getting the good grade is important, but some of the most valuable experience I had, it came from working on the real projects, building the relationship with like the friends from the diversity society or diversity country, and stepping outside my comfort zone. So you have only 1 year for master degree, and it's incredible quickly. So don't wait the opportunity to come to you, but you have to like be proactive to get involved and say yes to experience that help you grow. That's why I would.
Yeah, that's a great point. 1 year feels like a really long time to begin with, but it is surprising how fast it goes by. Okay, Sam, we'll come over to you next for your tip for our offer holders.
I would probably just build on what Venus has just said. To be fair, I think it's really important to like make sure that you capitalize on that. As you say, that 1 year, it flew by for me, but I was so glad at the end of it, having done so much. Just don't overdo it, but cram in. And if you have an opportunity that crops up, I know from now working like full time how little time you have to do stuff in your free time. So although that you do have to do the university grind and you have to make sure that you're like on campus and studying and learning and stuff, like make sure that you capitalize on that free time because this will probably be the last big opportunity you have to just be able to go out on a weekday and do whatever, go out to society meets and meet random people and meet all these people from all different backgrounds and walks of life. Like it's a great opportunity just to kind of have that freedom to kind of meet new people and do new experiences. And you're in a really well-connected area of the country as well. It may seem like very far away from places, but I know Venus mentioned about going out to Edinburgh. Like stuff like that is so easy to do while you're up in Newcastle. So just make the use of the time while you've got it and also don't leave the city and regret not doing something. I did absolutely everything that I wanted to. I made a list and I made sure before I moved home, 100% did everything. So just make sure that you do that. I know you mentioned, Vanessa, about the restaurants. I also did that challenge to eat at every single place. It did take me 5 years of living up there, but I did do it.
Wow, I am impressed. That is a lot of restaurants to get
I
through.
went to the worst places as well and the best places.
We'll have to get you doing some kind of ratings for all the restaurants in Newcastle or something to help our new students out. Thank you for that. Yeah, you made a good point as well about how well connected Newcastle is to everywhere in the country. So by train, we're only 2.5 hours from London, 1 hour from Edinburgh. We've got an international airport that connects you to Europe and the rest of the world as well. It's really, really easy to get around. Okay, our final tip, Derva, I'll come to you.
I would also like to build up exactly on what Venus said, that it's important, like a master's degree it's not just about marks. It's more of how to put yourself out there and how the practical world actually works. So, like if you're sitting with a distinction, but you still haven't had the skills to interact with the outside world, that's going to be a difficult thing. But I would also say, make the most of the resources that have been given to you. That is a really, really important part. What I also experienced when I was new to the UK was I was not used to doing chores by myself. So that was a factor that I did not consider because coming from India, we had help for every single thing. But cooking and making sure that I've cleaned everything in time so I can rush to class, that was difficult for me. So I would really advise learning to cook basic things and getting used to the weather, and getting used to sorry, I just got distracted by the chat. And getting used to living by yourself. Very important.
Yeah, I think it is important. It's a big transition as well, no matter whether you're moving from elsewhere in the UK or you're moving from overseas. So just remember to give yourself that grace, let yourself settle in over the first few weeks and don't put too much pressure on yourself. And then once you're feeling settled, once you've found your feet, that's a good time to start getting involved with all of the other opportunities that we've all been talking about. So all that is left for me to do is say a really big thank you to our panel today. You have shared some wonderful opportunities, some great experiences, and it sounds like you all really, really enjoyed your time here at Newcastle and have gone on to do some great things after your graduation as well, which has been really lovely to hear. Also, a big thank you to everyone in our audience for coming to join us today. Like I say, we'll email you about our next webinars that are coming up, so look out for those. And I look forward to seeing you at those, and hopefully in September right here in the business school as well. So thank you, everybody. And that's all for today. So I'll see you soon. Bye.